When will the oceans disappear? Over time, not only the borders of nations change, but also the continents themselves. Once upon a time, the modern continents were part of a single supercontinent. In the future, they will merge again. Continents are constantly on the move. These landmasses are embedded in lithospheric plates, large blocks of Earth's crust that float on the asthenosphere, the upper layer of the planet's mantle. Lithospheric plates are continuously shifting, breaking apart, colliding, and overlapping. A volcanic lava lake surface can serve as a model for these tectonic processes, which are cyclical. Every 400–600 million years, continents form a massive supercontinent, only to break apart later. Currently, Earth is about halfway through this cycle. In 200–300 million years, all continents, or most of them, will merge into one. To understand how this will happen, geologists study past supercontinents. The theory of continental drift was first proposed in 1912 by German meteorologist Alfred Wegener. He noticed that Africa and South America fit together like puzzle pieces. Furthermore, they share strikingly similar geological deposits and fossil fauna. Yet, they are 5,000 kilometers apart, and many animals could not have crossed that distance by sea or air. Wegener's ideas were initially mocked. However, by the end of the century, the concept of mobilism, acknowledging the constant motion of lithospheric plates, became mainstream science. The shared history of distant continents is supported by paleontological and geological data. The oldest hypothetical supercontinent is Nuna, which existed 1.5 to 1.8 billion years ago. It was composed of protocratons, ancient geological platforms. Siberia was at its center, while what is now Scandinavia and the Eastern European plain lay between Amazonia and North America. Antarctica was in the north, with Australia and India to its south. Around 750 million to 1.1 billion years ago, these pieces reassembled into Rodinia. Its name derives from the same root as Rodina, homeland, or to birth in Russian. Rodinia was surrounded by the super-ocean Moravia. Reconstructions depicted as an inverted world. Australia and India in the far north, Antarctica just beneath them. Pangaea existed 200–300 million years ago, surrounded by the super-ocean Panthalassa, from which the Pacific Ocean remains, and the Tethys Sea, now the Mediterranean, Black, and Caspian Seas. By this time, Earth was rich in complex life forms. Dinosaurs achieved global dominance on Pangaea. Some animals, like cockroaches, spread widely across the world thanks to the monolithic nature of the landmass. The formation of a supercontinent can be described through the interaction between land and oceans. The Mid-Atlantic Rift split Pangaea in two. An internal ocean, the Atlantic, formed between the halves, while the Pacific remained the external ocean in this system. Continents can reunite through introversion, closing the internal ocean, in this case the Atlantic, or extroversion, closing the external ocean, the Pacific. A third scenario exists. In 2012, Yale University geologist Ross Mitchell proposed the orthoversion hypothesis. Ortho means straight, suggesting a supercontinent forms not where the previous one was, nor on the opposite side of Earth, but roughly halfway in between, at a 90-degree angle. According to Mitchell, this is how Pangaea and Rodinia formed. His forecast suggests that the Arctic Ocean and the Caribbean Sea will vanish, and Eurasia will connect with America via the North Pole along a subduction line where the oceanic plate dives beneath the continental one. This subduction zone is a long stretch of volcanic activity known as the Pacific Ring of Fire. The new supercontinent might be called Amasia, combining America and Asia. Earth is gradually cooling. Oceanic crust is receiving less material, thinning over time. Researchers have calculated that 2.5 billion years ago, the oceanic crust was 30 to 47 kilometers thick. Now it's only 6–7 kilometers. Based on this, geologists conclude that Rodinia was the only supercontinent likely to have formed via introversion. Pangaea emerged from the closure of an external ocean, and future continents will merge the same way. In 200–300 million years, the Pacific Ocean will close. Asia will fuse with America, with Australia somewhere between them. In the north, Kamchatka will join Alaska, while in the south, Antarctica will attach to Chile's coast. The Mediterranean Sea, which separates Europe and Africa, will vanish. The center of the new supercontinent, also called Amasia, will lie near the equator. This theory is supported by the fact that the Atlantic Ocean is expanding by a few centimeters annually, while the Pacific is shrinking. However, nothing is certain about the future. Other scenarios for continental merging have been proposed. One of the most striking envisions the formation of a supercontinent called Orica, where both the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans disappear. Eurasia would split along the Pan-Asian Rift stretching from Pakistan to Yakutia. The Far East would join the Americas and Australia, along with the remaining parts of Eurasia and Africa. Other hypotheses suggest introverted merging through the Atlantic or clustering around the North Pole, as several continents are slowly drifting northward. Regardless, living conditions on Earth will change dramatically. Sea levels are expected to drop, and the vast interior of the supercontinent will likely become arid, with extreme daily temperature fluctuations. Moreover, 250 million years from now, Earth's rotation will slow, lengthening the day by 30 minutes, while the sun will shine brighter. Physicists at New York Space Research Institute simulated the weather on a supercontinent if all the land masses shifted toward the North Pole. The result is grim. Earth could enter a new ice age lasting longer than any before, 150 million years. This would mean the extinction of current biodiversity. However, new species adapted to extreme cold may emerge. Evolution will have time to adjust. At the very least, cockroaches are unlikely to go extinct. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to our channel and remember, the best way to predict your future is to create it.